In this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can make a really good income by giving away free websites to small businesses in your community. My name is Mike. I'm the founder of servicesthatscale.com. If you're not familiar with me, I have built two multi-seven-figure service businesses selling to the small business community, one in IT services and one in marketing services. I was on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in America 3 years in a row. My companies were also recognized as a best place to work in their communities, and I was able to sell one of those businesses for a multi-seven-figure exit. I share all that with you just so you have some context to know that what I'm sharing with you in these videos is based on my experience actually building businesses and is not just theory. There's a couple of very important things to know about this strategy. One, you really don't need any experience. That's one of the reasons why I share this strategy, is that if you are somebody who's looking to start some sort of digital agency, or you're just looking for a business to start of any kind and you're not sure which, this is a really powerful, important service that you can offer to small businesses in your community. And you don't have to be a website designer. You don't have to have any experience with graphic design or anything like that. I'm going to show you how simple this is. And it's very important to understand that with this strategy, I'm going to show you how you make money with it, even though you're giving away a free website, okay? The free website is the hook. It's the marketing that gets that small business owner's attention, which is very hard to do. So we use that free offer to draw them in. But of course, we have to make money doing this, and I'm gonna show you exactly how that's done. Now, how powerful is this offer from a sales perspective? In my own experience, I was able to add hundreds of customers very quickly with this offer because I had an existing list of prospects that I had been selling to that I hadn't been able to get to convert yet, but I had a good size list. And so I emailed my list with this offer and got fantastic response. So we were able to add over 300 of these customers just in our first month of making this offer, which honestly, I wouldn't recommend that because it was completely overwhelming, but that's how powerful it is. What's more realistic is that I have agencies that are working with me that have used this strategy to build themselves a six-figure recurring revenue business within a year just on this service alone. So it's a very powerful and effective way to get yourself to that point where you can easily be making enough money that you can provide for your family and focus on this 100%. Now, just a little bit of background on how this strategy came to be. In my digital agency, I was selling a very complete marketing service to small businesses. We did things like send their newsletter for them, generate leads for them, build and host websites, build and host webinar funnels. We did a lot for them. But selling anything that has that much to it and that much complexity makes the sale slower. It makes it more complex. It makes it harder for your prospect to understand. So we were looking for something to speed up that sales cycle and start generating cash quickly, and also create customers quickly, because once you have a customer and you've proven your worth with them, it's much, much easier to then sell your more complete services because you've got a relationship and you've got that credibility that they now know that you're going to deliver on what you say. So this strategy is fantastic for anybody who may be struggling to sell some more complex services or is just looking for a way to start generating cash and customers quickly. If this is a strategy that you're excited about, down below here at this URL or in the description of this video, I've got some free resources available for you to help you take advantage of this strategy. I'm talking things like sales scripts and marketing campaigns that we've used to execute this, as well as a free trial to HighLevel so you can jump right into this immediately and start working on building your business. Again, you can get that at the URL down below or in the description below this video. Now, you may be wondering, if we're giving away free websites, does that mean that these are, some kind of lame websites where they're not very professional and they're not very good looking? No, absolutely not. These are going to be beautiful websites. They're going to be professional websites. They're going to look great. And most importantly, they're going to have the functionality that small businesses need from their website to actually make it a useful marketing tool instead of just something pretty that sits up there and does nothing. So again, even if you don't have any experience building this kind of website, I'm going to show you how to do it very easily. Now, one of the questions that I get when I talk about this strategy is that a lot of people assume that every business already has a website, or because they have a website, they're done spending on websites. But as you can see, in the United States alone here, with small businesses alone, It's projected to reach $43.5 billion in 2025 in spend for website development, hosting, and maintenance. So there is a lot of money being spent by small businesses each year, and it's expected that this market is going to grow pretty consistently. Factors that are impacting that growth, which are important to understand here in the services that we're going to provide, are that businesses need more mobile optimized websites, the growing adoption of AI in terms of, one, features of their website itself, but also integration into other aspects of their business. And then just the realization for more and more small businesses finally that they have to be effective online if they're going to have any hope for their business to really grow and be healthy. And here's some information about how much small businesses are typically spending to get a website. It's between $2,000 and $9,000. Again, these are small businesses. This is what they're spending. And that the average annual maintenance spend is around $1,200, so around $100 a month. So these are just averages, of course, and it's going to vary. But again, we're giving away our websites for free. So we're giving a tremendous value, between $2,000 and $9,000 in value, which is a really important part of the strategy because so many small businesses want new websites, but they feel like they're going to have to come out of pocket $5,000, $7,000, whatever it is. And that's a lot of money to the typical small business. And so what do? They live with their current ineffective website for years and years, which all you have to do is spend a little time poking around small business websites these days, and you know that that's true. So as you can see here, we're set up with a really good offer. Small businesses expect to spend at a minimum a few $1,000s to get a new website developed, but many of them expect it's going to be $10,000 or $15,000 based on their past experience. And so the fact that we're making this free offer is really going to stand out in the marketplace. And that's exactly what you want to do with a good foot in the door offer, is you want to really stand out in the marketplace and attract a lot of attention. And that's exactly what this offer does for you. All right, there are 6 key factors to making this offer work, both from an operational and service delivery perspective and from an economic and profitability perspective. The first is that you have to have the ability to quickly and efficiently and cost effectively create professional, beautiful websites that you can deliver to your customers. Second is that you have to have professional, reliable website hosting that you can resell to your customers at the right margins. Third, you have to have a service delivery process that's going to contain the variables and control the time and the cost associated with delivering the websites. Fourth, you need to communicate a clear policy about revisions to the website so that your customers know what's included and what they'll be paying extra for if they want additions or revisions. 5 is to charge some sort of migration fee if the customer wants to leave your services before a certain time period. And then 6, very importantly, is that you want to have a path to upsell into additional services to add more revenue and add more margins. Okay, so the first key to success is that we have to be able to deliver professional, beautiful websites quickly without being designers. The key is to use a website building software that's going to allow you to really quickly produce a very nice professional looking website that, again, has all of the features that a small business needs so that they can actually use this website to help them grow their business. If you're familiar with me or you're familiar with this industry at all, it's probably no surprise that I'm going to recommend that you use HighLevel to design and deliver and host these websites. HighLevel has absolutely taken over the industry in terms of providing digital marketing services and CRM to small businesses. And there's really good reasons why, and their website builder is one of them. There are, of course, all kinds of website builders out there, and many of them are really, really good. But the important thing about HighLevel is that it also provides many other very valuable services that you can activate for your small business customers. So when you deliver these websites, you can show them all of the other capabilities that you can provide for them that are going to help them grow their business. That creates the upsell opportunity for you to grow your income even after you've made a free offer. Now, of course, not all of your customers are going to take you up on this, but many of them are, and it's really going to help you grow that recurring revenue and grow your income. But the website builder in HighLevel is fantastic. If you're familiar with working in WordPress, you're going to find that a lot of this is very familiar. And also, if you are very well acquainted with WordPress and you prefer to use WordPress's builders and actually host WordPress websites with HighLevel, you can do that as well. So what I'm going to show you though is their native website builder. It's what's built into HighLevel. The great thing about this is that one, it's free. You can build as many websites on HighLevel as you'd like for your customers, and it costs you nothing additional to you. And it's got some very powerful automatic integration into the rest of HighLevel's capabilities that make it really easy to attach those upsell services when you're ready to do that. So you can see right now, I'm just inside the website section of HighLevel. You can see HighLevel has so many capabilities up here. And over here on the left-hand side, I mean, it's an incredibly robust platform. But I'm just gonna go over here and click on New Website. And you can see here, it gives me the option of designing one from scratch. So if you're a designer, if you have that kind of background and you really want control over the whole design experience, you can. I really recommend that you don't though. And the reason why is even if you are a designer and you have some experience, you want to do this as efficiently as possible. Remember, we're making an incredible offer here, but it's got to be efficient. It's got to be cost effective. Website designers that I've worked with in the past tend to think that their creative skills are so important, and they are. It's great you have those creative skills, but those creative skills are costing you a lot of money because you're spending so much time doing creative development for small businesses that really can't pay you a lot of money, and that's limiting the growth of your business. So you want to think about this like a business person. I have sold hundreds and hundreds of websites to small businesses, and I couldn't design a website from scratch if my life depended on it, unless I'm using templates. But what I can do is generate recurring revenue really well, which is why I'm one of HighLevel's top partners, and which is why I've grown multiple service businesses to multi-seven figures of recurring revenue. So I hope you'll follow my lead here and just use templates. So I'm going to hit continue right here, and you're going to see that HighLevel has provided us with all kinds of templates. Over on the left-hand side, you can see here that you can search by various industries. Essentially, you're going to find a template for anything that you need here. And in case you don't, you can actually hire somebody off of Fiverr or Upwork or one of the other many platforms out there where you can find a helping hand, somebody that's familiar with websites and HTML. And you can just find any website out there or any WordPress template that you've seen out there that you like, and just have them rebuild it as a template inside of HighLevel for you. I have my team do this for me. It's very simple. It's fast. It takes them a couple of days, and they just rebuild any website that I want inside of HighLevel as a template, so I can then use it for my customers going forward. But let's just go ahead and pick a site here. Let's go ahead and do the travel bureau so you can see what it looks like. We just hit this little preview button. You can see it's a really nice looking website. It's got the button for them to opt in, which is great. We're going to help them build their list. It's got testimonials. It's got frequently asked questions. You know, it's got these kind of dynamic capabilities that you want in a nice looking website. It's got their social integration. It's got good navigation up top here. So it's got everything that this business is going to need for a nice professional looking website. And then as we go to the continue button, you're going to see here an exit pop. Exit pop is one of the most valuable things to help small businesses actually grow their list and generate more leads. And you'd be shocked at the number of small businesses that don't have any sort of lead capture really active on their website. So this is a really nice touch. I'm going to close that out though and hit continue so you can see what happens is HighLevel then just builds this template or adds this template to your website section here so you can get started with customizing the design of the website. And as you can see in here, if you're familiar with any sort of website builder or funnel builder, you're going to notice a pretty common structure here and layout in terms of how you update things. And you know, some of it, you're just going to go right in here and type. If you want to replace this image, you're going to go over here and click an image file and replace it. All just very, very common stuff. Again, if you're used to working with any website builder at all. And if you're not, it's something that you can learn very, very quickly, or just have somebody help you. There is so much low-cost help out there that is familiar with builders like this that you can hire somebody for $7, $8 an hour in the Philippines that can do this all for you very, very quickly. These sites are automatically going to be mobile optimized, which is incredibly important. And again, they're going to be using HighLevel's hosting platform, which is very, very robust and high speed, super efficient, and they've invested a ton of money in improving that over time. So you can really count on it to provide world-class hosting, which is incredibly important with this offer because we're going to be charging for the hosting. Okay, so that brings us to our second critical success factor in making this offer work is that you've got to have very professional website hosting that you can offer to your customers, and it's got to be at the right margins so that essentially you are recovering the cost of doing this website for free by the margins that you're making in the hosting. So critical to this model is, yes, we are giving them a free website, but in exchange for them getting that free website, they are agreeing to use our hosting. And that way we can recover our costs of providing the website free. This is in no way meant to be any bait and switch or anything like that. You want to clearly communicate this to your prospects up front when they, of course, are going to ask, hey, what's the deal? Why am I getting this website for free? You're going to say, that's a great question. There's two ways that we can do this. One is because we know that you have to host your website someplace. And so in exchange for us building this website for free, we're going to ask you to host your website with us. And by doing so, over time, we can recover the costs of providing this website for free by the margins that we make with our hosting. It shouldn't be any difference to you as a customer because you've got to pay for hosting anyway. So you might as well do that with us since we're providing your website for free. And then second, you want to make the point that this is a great introductory offer for you to meet potential prospects for the rest of your services. So yes, you're doing this for free. Yes, it takes time to recover the costs of developing that website because it takes time to recoup it with the hosting fees. But this is a great marketing vehicle for your agency to get exposure, to build goodwill in the marketplace, and attract potential prospects that you can work with long-term for other services as well. So you want to clearly communicate that's why you're making this offer. One, it makes economic sense over time. And two, it's a great way for you to get goodwill and market your services out in the marketplace. So it's worth it as an agency to make that investment. Again, that way there's no bait and switch in this. Your customers will understand, okay, there's a way for you to make money on this eventually, and you're doing it as a way to market the rest of your services. That's smart business strategy. So you've just got to have that great hosting to be able to provide. And ideally, you want to be able to get 90% margins on that hosting so that you can recover the cost of developing that website as quickly as possible. That's why, again, I'm a huge fan of using HighLevel for this because their websites have hosting included. They also have an unlimited WordPress plan that you can use, so you can host unlimited websites on there for a flat monthly fee, so you can get the kinds of margins that you need to really make this model work. All right, so that brings us to critical success factor number 3 in making this offer work. And this one, I feel like I have all these hard-earned lessons and battle scars from because my business has created hundreds of websites for small businesses. And in doing so, what I learned, and that's so critical that you adopt this mindset right out of the gate, is that this is not a creative process. This is more like an assembly line. I like to think of it like Henry Ford is rolling out Model Ts for the first time. And if you remember, one of the famous lines from Henry Ford is that you can have any color you want as long as it's black. So in other words, Henry Ford really controlled the options and the variables of creating cars so that he could offer them at the right price and at the right scale to make the model work. And that's exactly what you want to do with these websites. Okay, you do not want to have some loosey-goosey creative process where every customer that signs up, you're having meetings and finding out what kind of websites they think are pretty and how they'd like to have their brand represented. You don't want to get caught in any of that. What you want to do is you want to present your customers with a very specific process for getting their website built. And then outside of that process is going to be additional cost if you want to allow it to happen at all. So in other words, as an example, the first thing that I will do when I sell a new customer a website is I will have a survey process that they'll go through. And the first questions that we'll ask is for them to choose a theme. So let's just say you're selling a restaurant website. There's really only so many design themes to a restaurant website, right? Just about every restaurant website has the same kind of core features to the website. And yes, there's a little bit of structural differences or design differences, but if you go look for, I'd say 3 to 5 really solid restaurant website templates that you can then present to your customers and say, of these 3 or of these 5, choose the one that you think is the best fit for your business. And so you're giving them a specific set of design options to choose from, and you're forcing them to stay within that process. Choose either 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5, and that's it. There's no them coming back to you and saying, oh, we'd really like a website like this one that we found on the internet. That's not an option, okay? In order to get this free website, they've got to stay within the parameters that you're setting. And trust me, this goes really, really well. The customers actually really like this too, because most of them are intimidated and overwhelmed by the process of trying to decide what their website should look like and, what is good design versus bad design. And if you just present them with a few different options and say, you can choose between these, it's actually a relief to them as well. Then you want to do the same thing with colors and fonts. Typically with colors and fonts, you can just get those from their existing site. You can say, okay, your current brand colors are this, so we can mimic that on the site. Or what you can do is you can use a site like Color Lovers that will allow you to see palettes of different colors that go together really nicely. And you can choose between some of those palettes of colors, and again, give them options. Say, choose between these palettes of colors, or just tell us your brand colors. So I hope you understand what we're doing is we're going to bring them through a process where they are going to make decisions about the design, about the colors. They're going to provide things like their logo. You're primarily going to be able to get copy from their existing site and just copy and paste it. You're going to be able to find images from their existing site, or you just pull stock images to provide to them. But you want this to be an assembly line. And by following this process, you can present them with their first initial design of their website really quickly. I'm talking within 24 to 72 hours. You can present to them a V1 of their website that's really going to knock their socks off. They're going to be so excited to see it. And then you provide a couple of rounds of revisions to allow them to make the changes that they want. And that's a next critical success factor. Okay, so that's critical success factor number 4, is that we need to communicate a clear policy for how many rounds of revisions they get to the initial website and what's included in those revisions as part of the free deal, and then anything else that you may want to provide that is an additional charge, so it's outside of the parameters of the free offer. So as an example, typically what I've always done is allowed 2 rounds of revisions for the initial website design. And revisions that would be included in this free offer would be things like replacing images, replacing copy, changing the language on the navigation, things like that. Basic updates to the actual existing website itself. What these are not are major design changes, and in fact, really not design changes at all. I use the example of some customers will say, hey, I'd really like the blocks there on the site to be rounded corners instead of square corners. And that's just something that you can't do, because as a non-designer, doing something like that would actually require some sort of coding that's going to cost money. And so those types of things are just outside of the scope of what you're going to do for free. Now, again, you could decide that you will offer additional customizations like that at a charge. You just obviously want to make sure that you're charging a fee that's fair to make sure that you're covering your costs. Usually with small businesses, as soon as they see that there's an additional cost to it, they're not going to want to do it. It's not really that important to them that they'll actually pay for it. Now, there can be additional revisions, though, that you want to be able to offer on the website that are smart upsells. So as an example, let's say it's a restaurant website again, and you have some sort of mobile ordering platform that you're working with that you can offer as an upsell onto the website. Things like that are nice additional options to be able to have depending on the niche that you're serving. You could also offer things like adding an additional page to the website. Maybe for whatever reason, this business doesn't want the standard 7 pages that every restaurant website has. They want to have an additional page where they're really showing off their team or certain menu items. And so they want to have an additional page for that. You could have a flat fee that you charge for adding an additional page to the site and putting that content up there. But whatever approach you want to take, I would just suggest a couple things. One, that you really limit those options. Again, we want this to be as tight of a process as possible. And 2, that you really clearly communicate the policy to them that, hey, we're going to get 2 rounds of revisions. Here's what's included. Here's what's not included. If we go beyond those 2 rounds of revisions, here's how much each additional revision is going to cost. Again, the far majority of small businesses are not really going to think that anything is so important that they're going to need more revisions if there's a charge for it. So they're going to work with you within the structure that you're providing, which is exactly the goal. Our 5th critical success factor is that we want to have some sort of migration fee if the customer decides that they want to leave our services. Typically, I only charge this if they decide to leave our services within the first year. So in other words, we have some built-in protection that says, hey, look, if we design this free website for you in exchange for you using our hosting, but then 2 months into it, you decide, you want to cancel with us and you want to take your website someplace else, obviously then that changes the economics of this whole situation for us. And so we have a $500 migration fee for our team to help you package up the files of your website to give to your new developer and hosting provider as you depart our services. This is totally fair. It's totally reasonable. You don't want this charge to be something extraordinary. You just want it to make sense so it looks like you're doing fair business and you're expecting them to do fair business as well by providing some compensation to cover these additional costs for you. But again, this isn't really meant to be some punitive thing. I know there are some service providers out there in the past that have held their customers' websites hostage and shut them down unless the customer agreed to stick with them for longer periods of time. You don't want to get involved in any of that nonsense. That's lawsuits. That's bad, karma out there in the marketplace. That's people saying bad things about your services. You don't want anything about this to feel like, oh, I got scammed or a bait and switch. Again, this is something that you want to communicate up front. And you just want to say, hey, look, obviously the way that we recoup our investment is by the hosting over time. So if for whatever reason you decide that you want to migrate the website away in the first year of services, we do charge a $500 migration fee. After the first year, we've recouped enough of the costs that that's a non-issue for us. So it just feels, again, just like a reasonable part of doing business. And it's a way of protecting yourself to make sure that very small number of small businesses, and it is a very small number, that would intend to try and scam you. For the most part, small businesses are going to be really grateful for the service that you're providing, and they have no interest in migrating to another hosting provider because why? If you're providing good, solid hosting to them, what's the real benefit of them doing so? It's a pain in the neck, and they're not really going to be saving that much money, if any money at all. So have this in there, communicate it up front. It covers your downside, but again, don't make it anything too punitive or too exorbitant in terms of the cost. Just make it a fair business practice. Okay, the 6th and final critical success factor, and the most important one, if you really want to use this to expand the revenue of your business into additional services, is that you have a process to upsell the rest of those services from this initial free website offer. And this is why I love HighLevel for this whole service offer, is that the websites that you're creating inside of HighLevel are really already completely integrated with the rest of HighLevel's features. My recommendation is that you have a handful of these key features that you want to include in this free offer with the initial website. And you just include that for free in your hosting. And now some of these things are going to have a cost to you potentially. And so maybe what you're including is a certain amount of credits on your resale programs with HighLevel. So SMS, email, minutes on the phone numbers, things like that, where you can actually mark those up, but include credits with the hosting package that you've designed so that, again, there's a built-in upsell. If they like those features and they use them, at some point, as those credits get used up, they will naturally just start paying you more to continue to use those services. Now, as I said, this website now is perfectly set up to be integrated with the rest of HighLevel's features. So if we have somebody subscribe to this newsletter, it's going to be a HighLevel form that they're opting into, adding them to an email list in HighLevel, where we can then deliver automated follow-up sequences using HighLevel's email system. So all of this is perfectly integrated into these additional services that you can offer. You could also add a call tracking number to this website from HighLevel. You could have an AI service actually pick up the phone for those customers and have a conversation with the prospect. It's incredible. And take notes for that prospect using the services from HighLevel. We can put chat widgets on the website and have those pop up to automatically engage visitors to the website. And again, you can use an AI bot to actually have a conversation with those visitors so that your small business customer doesn't have to have somebody manning that chat bot at all times. That's just scratching the surface of the capabilities of what we can offer. But again, it's all integrated into HighLevel. Now you may be wondering, how much do you charge for the hosting to make this whole thing work? What I've always done is I've charged $97 a month for the hosting. I stress that it's business class hosting and all of the benefits that we provide, and then also stress those additional key features that we're offering for free included in the hosting. So $97 a month for business class hosting is expensive by some people's standards. It's not expensive by others. So as an example, I've just pulled up WP Engine here, the service that I've used for years, and I pay way more than $97 a month for. So there are hosting service providers out there that are providing business class hosting that are certainly more expensive than the really cheap hosting services that you may be aware of. And if you're dealing with somebody that is comparing you to those really cheap hosting services, of course, you want to stress things like the fact that they're actually going to be able to get in touch with you for support, as well as those additional features that you're providing from HighLevel that are going to really enhance the overall value proposition of what you're offering. But you also want to make sure to stress that you are offering a service that is built on a massive world-class infrastructure. And some of these things like 75,000 visits a month or 15 gigs of storage or 150 gigs of bandwidth, you can offer those through HighLevel on an unlimited basis so that your customers can really see the value of what you're offering if they compare it to something like a WP Engine. But also, I have always offered some degree of free revision support with the website included in our services, which is a really nice VIP touch to offer your customers. Okay, small businesses are very intimidated by trying to make even just very basic changes to their website, and they feel like hiring a website person to help them is confusing and expensive. Whereas what you can do is you can say, hey, look, any basic updates that you need to the site, and by basic updates, you want to define those very clearly. Things like replacing an image, replacing some copy, just those basic things you can do through our team at no additional cost. That's a really nice high-touch VIP service. Customers feel like it's a real benefit. And what it's doing for you is actually just keeping you in touch with that customer and giving you additional options to upsell. So again, that's a really nice way of enhancing the value of your services. I have found in my experience that very few customers actually take you up on it with any sort of frequency at all. And those that do are so appreciative that they become raving fans of your service. So $97 a month is what I've always done. You do, of course, have the option to offer it at a lower price. It will take you a little bit longer to recoup that initial cost of doing the free website for them. As well, what you can do is you can offer discounts for them if they prepay for the year. That way you can get some cash up front and you can give them a lower price per month by allowing them to prepay. It's up to you, but again, that's roughly where I suggest you price this and how you package it. All right, I hope you found this video valuable and that you can take this strategy and run with it. It really has been one of the most powerful offers to help people get started in this business or to convert more of their list into paying customers really quickly. And with HighLevel, it is really easy to execute. So I hope you can take full advantage of it. I do have an incredible bonus for anybody who invests in HighLevel through me or who upgrades their HighLevel account through me, where I provide with you a complete system for how to use HighLevel to execute this service as well as many other services and build your business into a recurring revenue service that makes you very high margins and is a very nice lifestyle business to run. You can get all the details in the URL down below or in the description of this video. And of course, if you have any questions about anything that I covered in this video or my bonus, please just leave a comment on this video. I respond to all of them personally. If you liked it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and sharing it with anybody that you think would get some value out of this. And I look forward to seeing you on a future video. Take care.